You've optimized your trading system, past performance is strong, really strong, you're eager to put the system to work. But what if that strong performance wasn't due to patterns in the data? What if it was due to data mining? How do you find out? Permutation testing. Here's the basic idea. You take the data that you trained your system on and permute it. Permute just means shuffle. Doing this will delete all patterns in that data. Then you re-optimize your system on this new permuted data. Say your original system had a profit factor of 1.20. If the system optimized on the permuted data has a profit factor of only, say, 1.03, you may conclude that the degradation in performance was due to the destruction of real patterns, and therefore the strong performance of the original was because of these patterns. On the other hand, if the system optimized on permuted data had a profit factor just as good or better than 1.20, then because this permuted data doesn't include the patterns in the original data, you may conclude that the 1.20 profit factor was achieved only due to data mining. However, this is a sample size of just one. Ideally, we need at least 1,000. For this video, I'll use data from the E-mini Nasdaq futures contract. The time period is January 2025 and the aggregation period is 60 minutes. For simplicity, we'll say the trading day starts at 9 AM. That gives 20 trading days of 8 bars each. To build a permuted series of data, we need 3 layers. First is the basis day. This is the first calendar day. Always leave the basis day unchanged. Second is the list of overnight gaps. Third is the individually permuted days. Here is the list of days we're working with for this example. Before we go into the steps, here's an example of what the original data looks like. This is day 1, January the 3rd. January the 2nd was day 0, the basis day. Step 1 is to initialize a vector of overnight gaps. We have 20 days of data, so we'll have 19 gaps. Gap 1 is the gap from the first days, close to the second day's open. It's important to do these calculations in log form to preserve the statistical properties of the data. We have a vector of size 19. They can be positive or negative. In our run, they're typically on the order of a few hundredths of a percent in log terms. Small, but they add up over the month. Step 2 is to permute the vector of overnight gaps. This just means shuffle the list around. This may give us something like this. We'll come back to this later. In step 3, we initialize the vector of days of data. Just create a list of indices for the non-basis days. If the basis day is day 0, then the other days are 1 through 19 in calendar order. Each number just means this calendar day. Step 4. Permute vector of days of data. Just like we did for the overnight gaps, we need to permute the vector of days of data. This may give us something like this. That means first append day 3, then day 1, then day 18, and so on. What we have now is a vector of permuted overnight gaps and a vector of permuted days of data. Step 5 is a long one. It's the meat of the permutation. This is where you permute the individual days. I'll show one day as an example. In our example, day 1 is January 3rd, and again it looks like this. Step 5.1 is to turn our prices into log prices. We do that by taking the natural log of each price. This gives us the following. Step 5.2 is to create the intrabar triplets. Now we put prices in terms relative to their open. Each triplet stays together as one unit. We compute triplets for all 8 bars. Step 5.3. We permute the triplets. We have 7 non-basis triplets. Here we're shuffling their order. So the first triplet in our permuted day will be the third triplet in the original day. Remember, we keep the first bar the same. Our new day looks like this. Step 5.4 is interbar gaps. Next, we compute the interbar gaps within the day. The first gap in the original data is between bar 0 and bar 1. Gap 1 therefore is the natural log of bar 1 open minus the natural log of bar 0 close. That gives 0.000024. Here's the list of interbar gaps for the original data in log space. Step 5.5 is to permute the gaps. Now we need to shuffle the gaps between the intraday bars. The original list is below. We shuffle that and get something like this. Step 5.6. Rebuild the day in log space. Now we have the set of permuted triplets and the set of permuted gaps we can rebuild the day. Start with the initial bar that remains unchanged. From it, we can get the next bars open. Just add the interbar gap to it. To do that, you can multiply the close-in raw form by the exponential of the natural log of the gap. That gives us 21,381.75 as the open of the next bar. From here, we can build the bar using the triplet that's relative to the open. Here was the first permuted bars triplet. By adding the open to each price, we get the triplet's raw form. Again, you can just multiply by the exponential. So the basis bar and the first permuted bar looks like this. Now we continue the process for the remaining bars in the day. And the full permuted day looks like this. In step 5.7, we center on open. Now we need to get all prices relative to the day's open. This makes it easy when it comes to stitching multiple days together. To do this, just subtract the days open. 21,228.25 in this case, from every open, high, low and close. The day now opens at 0. All other prices are points above or below that open that completes step 5. Step 6. Permute the intraday data for every other day in our dataset. Here's an example of another permuted day. It is day 3, January 7th. Step 7. Stitch the permuted days together. Now we have all of our non-basis days permuted. We need to stitch them together. This is where we refer back to step 2 and step 4, which gave us a shuffled list of both overnight gaps and days of data. If you remember, we have two vectors. Here is the basis day. Now we need to figure out what the first permuted day looks like. We have the prices all relative to the days open, but we don't yet have that open number. To get it, we use this formula. Close of basis day multiplied by the exponential of the first overnight gap. That gives 21,316.25. Then we look at what the first permuted day looks like. Remember that the first permuted day is day 3 of the original data, January 7th, due to the shuffling of the days of data vector. Now we know that its open is 21,316.25. We can just add this number to all the prices in this day because we have already centered them around the open. This gives us the first permuted day. That's the basis day and the first permuted day sorted. The second day in our permuted set is the original day 1, which was the 3rd of January. Just take the close of the first permuted day, day 3, and add the second permuted overnight gap to it, approximately 0.0126. That gives 21,162.25. Then we add this number to all the prices in the permuted day 1, and we have the second permuted day. That's shown here. Now we have the basis day and the first 2 permuted days. Continue permuting each day and stitching them together in the method shown in these steps until you have the whole month. This will give you one permutation. Repeat this whole process 999 times to get 1,000 permutations. This method works for any length of dataset and any aggregation period. If you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a like and hitting the subscribe button. If you have difficulty implementing this in any way, leave a comment and I'll try to help out.